On September 10th, Huawei announced its first triple-fold phone, the Mate XT Extraordinary Master, which excited many Chinese patriots. However, this phone soon became the butt of jokes online. People said it could cover your face while making calls, or that holding it feels like carrying a brick. Others commented that it looked more like an imperial edict than a phone for everyday use. But among all the criticisms, one stood out as the most sarcastic. On the evening of September 13th, Zhou Hongyi, founder and chairman of the 360 Group, posted a video on Weibo. In the video, he compared Huawei's triple-fold Mate XT to the iPhone 16, saying Huawei's hardware innovation was far ahead of Apple's. He added, "Whether you're pretending to make a call or hide your awkwardness or using it to cover your instant noodles, Huawei's phone is more useful."
我这两天在研究这 iPhone 和 Mate XT.
I've been comparing the iPhone and the Mate XT recently. I truly believe Huawei's innovation is miles ahead of Apple. For example, sometimes in public places, I feel awkward and want to pretend I'm on a call to cover my face. With an iPhone, you can't cover your face at all. But with Huawei's Mate XT, it's different. Look, I can hide my entire face, and no one can see who I am. It perfectly conceals my identity. Can you see who I am? Hello, is this Xiaoli? So that's one advantage I've discovered recently. Another use is when I'm busy at work and eating instant noodles. One important function of a phone is to press down on the noodle lid. Let's say I'm preparing 2 packs of instant noodles at once. A regular phone can't press down on 2 lids simultaneously. You have to prepare one at a time. But with Huawei's Mate XT, it's different. You can cover both bowls at the same time, doubling my noodle eating efficiency. It presses down more firmly too, so I've decided not to buy the iPhone 16. Some people say it's rare to eat 2 packs of noodles at once. Even for just 1 pack, Huawei has the upper hand. For instance, after pouring hot water, the lid edges might curl up. If you use a regular phone to press it down, it never covers the whole thing. It might press down on one side, but the other side pops up. But with Huawei, it's different. Let me demonstrate. It perfectly covers the noodles, trapping all the steam inside to keep the noodles hot and let the flavor seep into every strand. So with a Huawei Mate XT, the noodles taste better, are cooked more thoroughly, and are more delicious.
One user summarized by saying, "Actually, Huawei's phone has no advantages over the iPhone except for pressing down instant noodles." Another commenter added, "Mr. Zhou is right. People who can't face others should buy one." Huawei officially released this triple-fold phone 13 hours after Apple's iPhone 16 launch. Priced between 19,999 yuan to 23,999 yuan, this phone costs more than 3 times the latest iPhone 16. Many see it as an attempt to steal the iPhone's thunder. Recently, YouTube blogger Yan Xiaohuai mocked Huawei, saying that its core equipment can't catch up, so they focus on appearance instead.
玫瑰手机下周发布新品。
Rose Mobile is releasing a new product next week. Our chrysanthemum brand can't fall behind either. But we don't have anything to release. Don't say things that boosts others' morale while belittling ourselves. If we can't catch up in core equipment, let's just work on the appearance. Glue 3 phones together like an accordion. More product to sell. How much will we sell it for? With this creativity, it must sell for the price of 4 phones. What? Who would buy it? There's no shortage of rich fools here. Don't worry, just promote it as a national pride product, lightest and thinnest. The advertising law doesn't allow us to claim it's the best. Many companies have been fined already. What are they? They can't compare to our chrysanthemum. Yan Xiaohuai uses rose to refer to Apple phones and chrysanthemum to mean Huawei. The skit refers to Huawei's executive director, Richard Yu. Yan's sarcasm is not unfounded. Reports suggest that the Huawei Mate XT's biggest flaw is its outdated chip configuration. It is said that the Mate XT still uses a 7nm chip, which is lagging behind Apple's 3nm chip. This puts Huawei at least 3 generations behind. On September 10th, Martin Yang, a senior analyst of emerging technologies at Oppenheimer & Company, mentioned in an interview on CNBC's Squawk Box Asia that the gap in system-on-chip (SoC) technology between Huawei and Apple is widening because Huawei still cannot use any process below 7 nanometers. Last year, Huawei released the Mate 50, claiming to have a 7nm chip, but Huawei has yet to announce any major breakthroughs in the Mate XT's chip technology. Meanwhile, Yang stated that Apple is now using the second-generation 3nm process, and this year's phone performance has improved by 10% to 15% compared to last year's first-generation 3nm process. As a result, many netizens believe that Huawei's triple-fold phone is essentially a piece of industrial waste worth thousands of yuan, with a CPU performance similar to Apple's technology from before 2017. Industry insiders also describe the Huawei Mate XT as a tragic design. With the Harmony OS system, it is limited to the domestic market and cannot compete internationally. In other words, Huawei phones are rapidly falling out of sync with the rest of the world. Second, with current battery technology, it's tough to balance cost and performance for a triple-fold screen. Samsung demonstrated a few prototypes in its Seoul showroom in 2022, but never mass-produced them due to cost issues. Additionally, the foldable phone market remains niche due to consumers' concerns about price and functionality. In the second quarter, shipments of foldable smartphones were 3.9 million units, accounting for only 1.3% of the entire smartphone market. Nevertheless, due to its high price, Huawei's phone has been mockingly called the electronic Maotai. In China, Maotai is the highest-end liquor and synonymous with luxury. On second-hand platforms, some claim that the price of the Huawei triple-fold phone has soared to between 50,000 and 200,000 yuan, with some reports suggesting that scalpers once pushed the price to 650,000 yuan. It seems the level of fanboyism among Huawei fans should not be underestimated. On September 11th, in Shenzhen, Guangdong, Huawei opened reservations for the triple-fold phone. Inside a Huawei store, the scene was solemn. A staff member carefully carried the phone, placed in a glass box, into the sales area. This scene sparked ridicule among netizens. Comments flooded in. Feels like they're carrying an urn. Huawei Holy Church, a full-on religious product. And a collective carrying of an... This is truly a tax on stupidity. Whoever buys it is a fool. Some netizens sarcastically said, "Take it home and worship it with incense 3 times a day. Missing one stick means you're not patriotic." Later, the phone was placed on the table like an offering, with people only able to view it through a glass cover. It's here! Wow! Is this the first appearance of the triple-fold phone in Shenzhen? It looks quite high-end. These 2 phones are placed in front of us like offerings, only to be admired from afar, not touched. My hands are itching. I really want to touch it. Let me touch it. Wow, you can touch the real device. But no, I still can't touch it. It's so thin. This scene drew dissatisfaction from netizens. One commented, "This could never happen in places where subservience is insufficient." A phone that can be mass-produced is being treated like a relic. This is unprecedented and only proves that it's just a showpiece. They're afraid the phone will melt in people's hands.
Huawei, you're not even letting people touch the phone, keeping it in a glass case. Why not just put it in a museum? What's the point of having it in a phone store? Recently, the complaints about Huawei phones have gone beyond the phone itself to the experience around it. It's in a glass case, and netizens are fed up. They're saying, you have to bow to see a phone. It's self-humiliation. And, do you need an appointment to take the phone out of the case? Why is this so troublesome? Isn't technology supposed to be for the people, used by the people? Why does it feel like Huawei is putting itself on a pedestal?
On the same day, at Huawei's flagship store on Nanjing East Road in Shanghai, the first release of the Huawei triple-fold phone also drew a massive crowd. Most of the people in the crowd were young. One netizen mocked, "You can't find even 3 people in this crowd who can actually afford it." Someone else replied, "Could it be that they're all unemployed people trying to get attention by becoming internet celebrities?" Another person commented, "My wife used to be a store manager. She said just by looking at them, you can tell these aren't people who can afford a 20,000 yuan phone. You can tell by the quality of their clothes. They're just hired shills." Some sharp-eyed observers even noticed elderly men and women in the crowd, questioning, "Are they giving out free cooking oil for standing in line?" However, someone who knew the inside story explained that hiring elderly people could be risky if they fell, as the organizers would then have to cover medical expenses. It's more convenient and cheaper to hire students. There are plenty of these people in Shanghai's WeChat groups, being offered 30 to 50 yuan a day just to stand in line and create a scene. Sometimes they even get a meal as part of the deal. They rotate through the line, with payment depending on the number of tickets they get. Another person commented, "Would wealthy people really stand in line and squeeze into this crowd? Most of them are scalpers, poor people trying to make money by reselling. Those who genuinely buy it for themselves wouldn't act like this. It's just like Maotai." Despite Huawei's aggressive promotional campaign for this phone, Zhou Man, a popular YouTuber with millions of followers, openly stated that Huawei's triple-fold phone has three major drawbacks that keep him from buying it. First, the price is too high, starting at 19,999 yuan, with scalper prices reaching around 50,000 yuan. Second, the Mate XT is equipped with the Kirin 90 processor, which lags about 3 years behind in performance. Additionally, Huawei phones use the Harmony OS, which does not support the Android system, making them quite limited in use. Third, the Mate XT weighs about 300 grams without a case and 330 grams with one. Its three stacked screens make it 12.8 millimeters thick, making one-handed use difficult. Back in February 2019, Huawei released its first foldable phone, the Huawei Mate X, which was already criticized for its high price of 17,500 yuan, seen as a stupidity tax. On social media, many Chinese consumers complained about various issues with the Mate X, including screen leakage and other defects that rendered the phone unusable. What angered these consumers even more was Huawei's after-sales service, which repeatedly refused to provide free repairs. Huawei's foldable phone offers nothing but looks. You'll regret buying it, spending thousands just for a lesson. Apart from taking photos, it's practically useless. The crease became obvious in less than a week of use. To reply to messages, you have to repeatedly fold and unfold it, so now I use it like a tablet just to avoid folding it. The battery doesn't last long, and the phone gets very hot after a short period of use. In short, I don't recommend it. In Chengdu, Sichuan, a couple who used to be die-hard Huawei fans spent 7,999 yuan on a Huawei Pocket 2 foldable phone. They did it to support domestic products. After using it for just 3 months, the screen started leaking, rendering the phone unusable. However, Huawei's after-sales attitude left this consumer frustrated, and she vowed never to buy Huawei again. On September 14th, a consumer revealed that they had spent tens of thousands of yuan on a Huawei foldable phone, which developed serious screen leakage issues in less than a month. Huawei's after-sales service refused to provide free repairs for various reasons. "I spent tens of thousands on the Huawei Mate X foldable phone, and it broke after just a few days. I wonder if Huawei will replace it for me."
Would you still dare to buy a foldable phone like this? This Huawei Mate X3 was bought by my relative less than 3 months ago, and now the camera won't open. Also, the main screen has a horizontal line across it. They spent nearly 2,000 yuan on this phone. When they took it to the after-sales service, they were refused a warranty because of a minor bump on the corner. Now, the after-sales service says we have to pay extra to repair the screen, and it's not available at a discounted price. It'll cost over 5,000 yuan to replace it. I feel like such a fool. In the future, if we support domestic products, we should do so within our means.
These issues reveal that Huawei's foldable screen technology is not as flawless as they claim. Moreover, although Huawei claims that its triple-fold phone is independently developed and has even applied for patents, recent reports from various media outlets suggest otherwise. Tracing back through its supply chain, not only is its foldable phone technology likely derived from multiple supply chain companies, but the LTPO OLED screen may have been illegally obtained from Samsung's technology. On September 10th, Huawei's executive director, Richard Yu, introduced the Mate XT as the world's first triple-fold phone at a product launch event. He stated, "The triple-fold phone is something others have thought of but couldn't accomplish, and that Huawei's Mate XT will rewrite industry history." According to official information, the Huawei Mate XT features a newly self-developed Huawei Tiangong hinge system. In February this year, Huawei filed a patent named Foldable Screen Device, showcasing a new type of electronic device that folds in 3 parts. Its main structure includes 3 sections, 2 hinges, and a flexible screen, utilizing an inward folding hinge and an outward folding hinge to connect the 3 sections. However, insiders close to Huawei's supply chain suggest that the key to the triple-fold phone lies in its hinge and screen. Analysts speculate that the hinge for the XT is likely provided by a company called Kosun Technology. According to records, efforts, as early as November 3, 2022, Kosun Technology disclosed its investor relations activity report that the company had been working on foldable screens since 2019, primarily supplying Huawei. Huawei's executive director, Richard Yu, mentioned on that new product is the result of 5 years of persistence and investment, indicating that the development of the Mate XT started around 2019. Regarding the screen, Chinese media outlet WIT OLED recently cited industry sources revealing that the LTPO OLED screen for the Huawei Mate XT is exclusively supplied by BOE Technology. Interestingly, BOE had already demonstrated a triple-fold OLED terminal in 2021, capable of folding into a Z shape and functioning both as a phone and a tablet. BOE claimed that this technology was independently developed. On September 4th, during a conference, BOE's chairman, Cheng Yangshun, told the media that BOE and Huawei have deep cooperation in the field of foldable screens. He said, "Our joint development with Huawei is closely interconnected. However, due to confidentiality agreements, BOE did not disclose whether it participated in the development of the Huawei Mate XT." Back in November 2018, a case of alleged technology theft in South Korea involved 11 people stealing Samsung Electronics OLED edge flexible circuit technology and selling it to China. Among them, 9 people were from the same South Korean display equipment supplier. According to a report by Radio France Internationale, Huawei screen supplier BOE, along with 3 other Chinese companies, obtained the stolen technology, and BOE began developing foldable screen technology in 2019, which aligns with the timeline. It's also worth noting that in June 2021, South Korea's Samsung Electronics submitted a patent application for a triple-fold phone. Just before Christmas Eve that year, they officially announced the concept of a triple-fold phone with dual hinges. To achieve a Z-shaped fold, Samsung designed this concept device with both inward and outward folding hinges. Given these circumstances, it is suspected that this screen technology exclusively supplied to Huawei by BOE could be based on Samsung's stolen OLED soft screen technology, casting a significant shadow over Huawei's claims of independent development. One netizen commented, "It was stolen in the first place. Samsung developed a prototype back in 2014 or 15, with 10 years of accumulated R&D. Huawei and BOE suddenly came up with this? Doesn't it seem suspicious?" Another remarked, "If they can't figure out one screen, how can they handle 3? Might as well just carry around a monitor. There's nothing to brag about. It's all stolen technology. They're stirring up nationalism, but wait and see. It will end badly for Huawei." Bloomberg reported that IDC analyst Arthur Guo mentioned before Huawei's launch, given the high technical requirements, low production yield, high price, and limited participants, triple-fold devices are unlikely to become a significant growth engine for the foldable market. One netizen pointed out, "Huawei's chip technology is lacking, the screen technology is inadequate, and the design is flawed. So what's the solution? They can only take an unconventional route by picking up old ideas discarded by Samsung and deliberately selling them at such high prices because they're targeting the niche luxury market. This kind of pricey niche product is bought but not used, and those who use it usually don't buy it. Most of the people buying this are using it as gifts. You can consider it a product specifically for gifting. Indeed, many people within the system use Huawei foldable phones as gifts for officials, serving as a substitute for Maotai liquor. Maotai became a highly sought-after gift within the political system, inflating its value. Likewise, the second-hand market for foldable screens has seen intentional price hikes to facilitate the official's ability to monetize the gifts. Under normal circumstances, electric devices depreciate as soon as they leave the factory. So, Huawei's triple-fold phone is neither a regular product nor meant to make money. Its purpose is to show the big investors behind Huawei that the company can still innovate and survive. Additionally, it serves to fan the flames of patriotic enthusiasm among their supporters.